lot of the ideas of general farming are the same, but it's a perennial plant, so we have to take care of it year round. It's continuing to evolve, every year.
I am the owner of Wetherby Cranberry Company and a third-generation cranberry grower. I grew up as an only child, okay? So I said, oh my God, I gotta find a husband. I can't do this by myself. And so I asked my dad, how can I find a husband? He says, only two ways. You either find one at a bar or at church. So I did the right thing first. I went to church. Well, there were no young men at church. There was all these old white-haired men, So I went to a bar. Well, I was very lucky. I found a gentleman that had been raised on a dairy farm. So bingo, I said. And I found out that he and his whole family loved to eat cranberries. So then when he proposed, I said, you have to marry the marsh and myself because we go together. So if this is not in your vision, I am not the girl for you. I said, however, I know you like to eat cranberries and I can provide you with cranberries 3 times a day, 365 days a year. And I know that was the hook that got him. So in 2023, we will have been married 50 years.
I just kind of started as a weed puller and doing jobs like that. I've been doing something on the Cranberry Marsh for about 32 years now. We live here, so we're kind of working all the time. That's the one thing that, you always feel like I should be down there doing something and everything. But now I got 4 boys, and one of them already works for me whenever he gets a chance. And he's about to finish tech school next spring, and then he'll be back here full time, kind of taking over for me. I just had my first grandchild, a granddaughter, born in January. And she actually now represents the 6th generation of the Cranberry Marsh here at Wetherby. So next year we'll be 120 years old as a company. So it's kind of cool to start to see some of those big milestones start to take place again. We have a new harvesting machine that we drive in the last few years. Most of our cranberry equipment is developed by cranberry growers in our own shops. You don't really buy cranberry equipment out on the open market, so a lot of us build it ourselves. We share our kind of knowledge with each other, and then we come up with some of these new ideas. So yeah, it's continuing to evolve, every year.
Farmers that raise corn and soybeans are always fascinated when they come to visit a cranberry marsh because it's totally different than what they're used to. It will take 2 to 3 years to get a partial crop and 4 to 5 years to get a full crop. And then as long as you maintain that crop, it will last for 25 to 30 years or more even. We are one of the very few marshes that harvest any cranberries at all for fresh fruit. There's only 3% of the nation's crop is harvested for fresh fruit because it's a very time-consuming and labor-intensive part of harvest.
It's getting close to Thanksgiving, and that's when the majority of fresh fruit sales are done. So you're sitting in my cooler right now, and behind me is the whole area where we're sorting them and we're packing them. We're getting them all put into bags to go out to the grocery stores for people to enjoy in the holidays. Hopefully freeze a few, and then use them later this spring and next summer, and kind of use them all year round. But that's where we are right now, is we're right in the middle of where everything's stored and then ready to go out to the stores. A lot of the ideas of general farming are the same. We still have to put on our fertilizers and watch the plant grow and continue to make it. But it's a perennial plant, so we have to take care of it year round. And it's different than a lot of other crops because a lot of other crops are up on the main surface, whereas we're down close to the water table, and we have to use water during the entire season a lot more, I think, than a lot of other people do. This area is good for it, just for a variety of reasons. A lot of it is the acidity of the soil. We have the right soil type that we need, and then the whole dormancy cycle has to take place, so the cranberry has to go through all 4 seasons, which they definitely get in Wisconsin.
there's kind of pocket areas. So it's this Warrens, Toma, Black River area here. Then we have Wisconsin Rapids. Then you go up to Stone Lake, and then go way up north to Eagle River and Manitowish Waters. So those are kind of the 5 larger areas in the state that are especially conducive to cranberry growing. I'm a firm believer that you have to tell the public what you are doing, where their food comes from, and it's this farm to table type situation. So we hope that on their Thanksgiving table there's some form of cranberry on it, and it has been since the time of the Pilgrims, and we hope to continue it.